Hello and welcome to my review of the Death Guard Plague Marines box set. This box set will cost you £30 and it consists of 7 models. Quite controversial, a lot of people expecting there to be 10 models. The squad size for Plague Marines is 5. I think one of the reasons why it's £30 is because it consists of 3 completely different sprues, and the size wise they're between normal Space Marines and Primaris, so you can't really say that they should be in the same price range as Primaris, being £35 for 10, or likewise you can't say they should be £25 for 10 either. I'll draw some more comparisons in a moment regarding Primaris, but firstly let's have a look at the models. Now you do get a fair amount of parts. Now the one thing that struck me when I opened this set was the variety in all of the unique models that you could make. I've gone for I think this set completely, with the exception of the Plague Spewer. I've changed it up a bit and I've gone for the Plague Belcher, and I've gone for the double-handed like Plague Cleaver instead. So let's have a look. So this is the champion that I've created. So he's got his power fist, nice power fist. It's a head, but it's not that Slaneshi. It's you know, it's got this horn coming out of it. I may need to take that head out and just reposition it a little bit after looking at it on the camera. But he's got his plasma pistol and his power fist, and he's got this cape that comes in sort of like 2 parts that you have to glue to the shoulder pauldrons. It's got really nice looking power pack, kind of demons sort of screaming out of it, with this wonky sort of horn coming out as well, and another one coming out of his knee armour too. So a lot of detail, really stands out. You don't get a champion in here with a plasma gun. You do get a plasma gun and a melter gun, but you don't get one similar to the easy to build kit. Now this is work in progress, please forgive me. That's why his eyes are really white, and the maggot is really white. But like the easy to build kit, you get a power fist and a plasma gun for the champion, and also with the Dark Imperium you get one with a power fist and a plague sword. And finally the even the individual one doesn't come with a plasma gun, it just comes with a bolt gun and power fist and plague sword. So I thought I'd just draw that comparison with the other champions. So that's the champion there. Then it gives you options for special weapons, heavy weapons, things like that. But what I'll do is I'll just show you the icon bearer. This is sort of their version. This is the one that's that you can buy separate. I think you'll agree that the one separate is just far better. But that's just my opinion. They're both pretty cool. I like the one with all these bells coming out, and I like his chest piece armor and his helmet. But then again, I do like the grenade racks and the bolt gun on that one. So they have the good bits and bad bits. I mean, I really like the sword on this one too. So there you go, that's the icon bearer. Special weapon wise, I've gone for the Plague Belcher, just to give me some sort of automatic hits. This guy, you could have him with the melter gun or the plasma gun. Really nice sort of attacking pose. Really like this model. And then I've also given him a blight launcher. A really cool thing about this blight launcher is he's holding a grenade, so another Death Guard holding a grenade, building up quite a collection of them now, which is really cool. And if I just compare it to a work in progress Death Guard with blight launcher, it's cool that this one's got him in this one's got the weapon in his left hand and this one's got it in his right hand, and you know, you could have both of them in that squad if you really wished. So yeah, I like the fact that it's got that grenade and this lovely tongue coming out of the armour, and it's got a little bit of a cape and dirty plague knife in its sheath, and this kind of spine or tentacle coming out of the power pack too. Then we've got this kind of drummer. No, he's not really. He's holding this really nice mace. Looks like his face has been cracked open. You've got some detail coming through. Excellent attention to detail on this plastic kit, and look at all the detail on this shoulder pauldron too. I was really surprised and amazed with the detail on the Blightlord Terminator set, but this set just bumps it up to another level. Lots of detail with this kit, and it's got his bubotic axe as well. So close combat mainly for this guy. And carrying on with the close combat theme, I've got this guy with this flail of corruption. I really like the sort of rules and things of it, especially with the Blight Lord Terminators. They've got a massive one though, and this one's got this sort of chains on the pole. You've got like a tentacle just breaching out of the armour there, and a bit of corruption spilling out of the power pack, and a few grenades on his waist side. And finally, I've got this guy here with this plague cleaver, this massive double-handed weapon. I chose to go for this rather than... I could have gone for a plague spewer instead. You don't get a plague spewer in the easy to build or the Dark Imperium set. You get it on that fetid bloat drone. So it was an option for me to use it in this set, but I didn't. I just thought that this plague cleaver looked so much cooler than the plague spewer, and I've already got a plague belcher. So would I get another set? Yeah, definitely. I don't think they'd look too similar. You get a lot of parts, and I'll show you those parts right now. So they're all in here in this little box, in this little tray. For some reason, I got an extra base. I don't know whether Games Workshop were being cheeky, but there's an extra base there that I got with this set. And look at all these parts. Huge amount of parts here. More than the Blight Lord Terminators. So in here you get loads of different heads. I mean, they are specific to the model, to the torso. They do have these little knobs, and then there's holes in the sort of neck area, but it's really simple. Just chop them off, and then you can position the head any which way you want to add some variety. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't use this guy's head. I didn't use this guy. There's a really good model which isn't even on the box anywhere. It's of this guy with this helmet holding a grenade with two hands and pulling the pin out. It's really, really cool, and I'm definitely, when I get a second set, I'm definitely going to use the model. Look at that. So it's him just sort of like, not cowering, but sort of like greedily hugging this grenade and about to pull the pin out. Definitely will use that next time. Also the plague spewer looks pretty cool. There's a lot of nice bolt guns. There's this sort of pointy sort of pickaxe type axe weapon. The plague swords look awesome. Lots of detail on those. And yeah, you get a melter gun and a plasma gun. Only one of each, but there you go. But yeah, plenty of other bolt guns and heads that look like that I didn't use. Plenty more shoulder pieces like this one. Look, that's quite a good one with the spikes coming out. Chainmail parts as well. Quite a fair few spare parts. Someone asked me quite recently in another video, oh, could you use them with the Dark Imperium? I don't think you could. Dark Imperium are sort of, they're even more restrictive than this set. This set isn't that restrictive in that you can make 2 or 3 different Plague Marines with each one, and sometimes you can just swap out the armour, and sometimes you can swap out the heads. So whereas the Dark Imperium, a lot of the time it's sort of 2 pieces of a model going together, or half of an entire sort of Plague Marine going together. It's quite restrictive. Well, you know it's restrictive because you don't get any spare parts in it at all. So while it is possible to do, you definitely need to do a bit more modding and customization. You need to chop off hands, chop off weapons, things like that in that box set. If you bought another Dark Imperium set, even changing the weapons around and things, I think they'd look more similar to your other Dark Imperium box set than if you bought another box of these. I really would. Okay, so now that the spare parts are out of the way, let's just do a few size comparisons. So you already saw them compared to a normal Plague Marine. They are pretty much the same size. Next to a Space Marine, they are a fair bit taller. I mean, look at that. It's almost head and shoulders above the Emperor's Finest. So they have definitely increased in size, bloated, and all the rest of it. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see if and when they release any new Chaos Space Marine armies, if the Space Marines are going to be this big, or if they're going to stick with those. I don't think they will stick with those. But that's just my thoughts. And compared to a Primaris Space Marine, they are just a little bit shorter. I mean, that's the Champion as well, just a little bit shorter, like probably a head shorter than the Primaris. So yeah, they're not as tall as Primaris, which is fine, but they're definitely very bulky, very thick. And then compared to Typhus, of course Typhus is massive, and it just goes to show you just how big he is compared to your standard Death Guard Plague Marine. So there you go, that's all the size comparisons. What I'll do now is I'll just go through the rules, as I always do with the miniatures now that they're built. So you'll find them in the troop section. They are a troop choice. They do consist of 5 normally, but in this set you get 7. So you normally get 1 champion and 4 Plague Marines. It can include up to 2 additional Plague Marines, up to 5 additional Plague Marines, up to 10 additional Plague Marines, and up to 15 additional Plague Marines. So yes, you can have a squad of 20 Plague Marines for sort of 1 troop choice. So what I'll do is I'll just talk about the stat line first of all. So Plague Marines, their movement is 5 inches, their weapon skill is 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength is 4, their toughness is 5. That's what sets them apart with other legions. They have 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 7 and save of 3+. The difference between the champion is the champion has 2 attacks instead of 1 and a leadership of 8. That's the only real difference. And he can take a power fist and plasma pistol, plasma gun even as well. They're all armed with plague knives, bolt guns, blight grenades and crack grenades as standard. But the plague champion may replace his plague knife with a plague sword, such as that one there. He may replace his bolt gun with a bolt pistol or plasma gun, which this one has. He's got his plasma pistol. And he may take a power fist, and he's got a power fist there. Up to 2 Plague Marines can each replace their bolt gun with either a plague spewer, a plague belcher, a blight launcher, a melter gun, or a plasma gun. So in this squad I've got a plague belcher and a blight launcher, but you could have 2 blight launchers. A Plague Marine can replace their bolt gun with either a bubotic axe or a second plague knife. Now I haven't got that here. I haven't got them having a bubotic axe and a bolt gun, and I haven't got any here with 2 plague knives just holding them, but this model here does. That model right there, he's got the 2 plague knives. Up to 2 Plague Marines can each replace their bolt gun with a mace of contagion and a bubotic axe. That's what this guy's got, so I've got one of those there now. Up to 2 Plague Marines can each replace their bolt gun with either a great plague cleaver or a flail of corruption. So 2 of them can have one of these each. So plague cleaver and the flail of corruption. And finally, 1 Plague Marine with a bolt gun or 2 plague knives may also take an Icon of Despair, which is what I've got right here. Now one could say, oh super, why did you make one as Icon of Despair when you've just gone out and bought an Icon of Despair anyway? Well, it'll be useful if I want to put him in a different Death Guard squad. And I wanted to show you the comparison that you do get one in the box set too. Their abilities: Death to the False Emperor and Disgustingly Resilient. Icon of Despair, well, if you've got an Icon of Despair in there, units that are within 6 inches of enemy units with an Icon of Despair must subtract 1 from their leadership characteristics. And Vectors of Death and Disease: a Plague Marine armed with 2 plague knives, a plague knife and a bubotic axe, or a mace of contagion and a bubotic axe, has an attacks characteristic of 2 instead of 1. So this guy right here has now got 2 attacks instead of the 1. So that's pretty cool. I'll just go through some of the weapons. So blight launchers are pretty decent. They're assault 2 weapons, range 24 inches. They're high strength. They're a good strength of strength 6, AP -2 and damage D3, but they're also a plague weapon. It's great that they're assault 2. Melter guns are melter guns and plasma guns are plasma guns. The same for plasma pistols. Plague belchers, which this guy's got, differ from the plague spewer, which are the bigger ones that you get on the bloat drone, and you do get a plague spewer in this kit too. But the plague belcher, the difference is that it's strength 4 instead of 5. Its AP is nothing, unfortunately. Its damage is 1, but it is still a plague weapon and it still automatically hits its target. And it's an assault D6 rather than a heavy D6. I wanted to keep these guys moving and firing and all the rest of it. The bubotic axe, which this guy's got here, pluses his strength to +1, so that's a 5. Gives him an AP -2, damage 1, and it's a plague weapon, so that's pretty good. The Flail of Corruption right here, pluses the strength to 6, AP of -2, and damage 2, and then you make D3 hit rolls for each attack with the weapon instead of 1, and then excess damage is not lost. You keep allocating the damage to another model in the target until either all the damage has been allocated or the unit has been destroyed. That's why Flail of Corruptions are pretty awesome. The Great Plague Cleaver just times the strength by 2, so you're getting a strength 8, AP -3 as well, and damage D6. It's a plague weapon 2, and also when you hit, unfortunately you have to subtract 1 from the hit roll. But still, I think the trade-off's pretty good for times in your strength by 2 and the AP -3 and the D6 damage. Very great. Awesome weapon. And the Mace of Contagion pluses his strength by 2. So you've got a Bubotic Axe there, that's 1, and then a Mace of Contagion, which is +2. AP -1, and the damage of 3 though. So the Mace gives you the damage of 3, and it's a plague weapon. You'll also have to subtract 1 from the hit roll. Plague Knives are, plague knives, they're plague weapons, strength user, same as plague swords, but plague swords you can just re-roll failed wounds for the weapon rather than re-rolling wounds of a 1. Power fists are power fists, and light grenades are a strength 3, but they are grenade D6 and they're a plague weapon. So I hope I've covered everything. There might be 1 or 2 things that I've missed. I think they're a fantastic looking unit. I think all the Death Guard releases are great units. They may not be the best for customizing. They may not be the best for your options in the box sets and you wanting to play them competitively. I completely understand that, and if you did play competitively, I'd understand why some of these sets may frustrate you. But other than that, I think they're fantastic looking miniatures, very unique, very different from what we've had quite recently, which are models that look very samey but are still expensive. That's all I really wanted to say about the Death Guard Plague Marines. I think they're a solid set. I would buy a second box, but after that, I think I'll probably run out of options of sort of kitting them out and modifying them. And yeah, after 2 sets, they may start to look a bit samey. I chose this layout. It's got a bit of mix of firing with the plasma pistol, the blight launcher, and the plague belcher. It's also got a mix of close combat with the plague cleaver, the flail, and the mace and the bubotic axe. I think the next set I'd have more plague swords and bolt guns. The reason why I chose this set like it is just because I've got the Dark Imperium and the easy to build kit and the Plague Brethren, which are all quite shooty really, and they've all got a lot of bolt guns and things and grenades happening. So I wanted to focus this kit more on melee. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.